Did you know there was this many Jonin in Naruto? Because I didn't. I suppose there's a lot of like no name or just barely mentioned Jonin, especially in the Fourth Great Shinobi War. We see a lot of them, members of the Akimichi family, the Nara family, stuff like that, that are mentioned, and they are Jonin and they're good. Jonin is one of the highest ranks of a ninja that you can get in Naruto. It's right underneath Kage, and especially in like the part one of the series, if you could defeat a Jonin in battle, you were pretty skilled and probably a threat to everybody. Taking a look at this, guys, we're not going to rank all these guys because, let's face it, a lot of these guys are just forgettable. So we have already two tiers made here. We have forgettable minor characters and then cool minor characters. I'm not going to rank Sakumo because even though he was said to be more powerful than the Sanin, he just wasn't in the show enough. We didn't really see him fight. It's more described. I like Kagami. I like this old Akimichi guy who was on the team with Heroes in him back in the day. Some other guys, and then Tsunade's lover. I put these guys in cool. I think they're cool. You know, they're not forgettable, but they're not really that important characters. These are the Jonin down here that we are going to be ranking, guys, and we're going to be putting them in these tiers here. Goat, goes hard, good, mid, meh, and dog water. Hope that's pretty self-explanatory what each of those means. Guys, if you have any other ideas for tier lists, Naruto or otherwise, let me know in the comment section down below. Trying to create a little bit of a backlog so I can focus on some IRL stuff I have coming up. So I'd love to hear your suggestions if you have them, but if you don't, your viewership is enough for me. We're going to go ahead and start here with Might Guy, and hopefully this isn't too much of a surprise here. Might Guy, guys, going all the way up in the GOAT tier. You know what? Let's put him in Goes Hard. I think that describes my guy a little bit more, a little better. And he is fairly annoying a lot, right? So maybe not Goat, but absolutely opening up the 8 gates against Madara. Absolutely goes hard. Madara acknowledging him as the second most powerful opponent. Pretty much probably the best taijutsu user in the show. Absolutely goes hard. His personality is a little annoying. He loses the ability to walk in Boruto. Yeah, he goes hard. I don't know what else to say. Asuma Sarutobi absolutely goes hard. This is one of the deaths in Naruto Shippuden that hit me the hardest. That whole arc with them fighting Hidan and Kakuza. Shikamaru outsmarting Hidan in the end, avenging Asuma. Shikamaru taking up the mantle of Asuma. His legacy also continues in Boruto with his son and whatnot. Yeah, this one goes pretty hard. Asuma, I think he's right there with my guy. Kurenai, I'm going to put her in mid, and that might upset some people, but Kurenai, despite being one of the OG senseis along with Guy, along with Asuma and Kakashi, Kurenai, she's treated like just a mom for most of the show. She's treated like a pregnant woman and a mom, and I do understand that because obviously being pregnant, you can't, fight and be crazy like some of these other characters, but Kurenai, I mean, she's shown to have an immense skill in Genjutsu, and she uses that in part 1 against like Itachi and stuff, but I don't remember her doing much of anything in part 2, which would be Shippuden. And yeah, it's just a little disappointing there that she was not used to her full potential, as I would say. Next up, we have a couple Hyuga members, Hyuga clan members. We have Hizashi, let me get the names right, because they're so similar. We have Hiyashi. This is Hinata's dad. Hizashi. Yep, Hizashi with a Z. This is Neji's dad. And we have Neji. So, Hiyashi, gonna be a mid character. Obviously, he is treated as a bit of an antagonist at points in the show. Incredibly skilled at taijutsu, as most of his clan is. The Byakugan as well. But the spotlight is really just never on him. I considered making a tier of just like cool dads or cool moms, and there's somebody else that's gonna break that scale in a minute. But yeah, Hiyashi, the whole branch family, main family thing with the Hyuga clan, where essentially another village demanded the body of Hiyashi, and because he was the leader of his clan, he was the leader of the main family of his clan. It was his twin brother, his younger twin brother, Hizashi, that basically had to sacrifice himself and be killed. And because they were identical, the other village never knew. And Hisashi, Jesus. Hisashi was so skilled that he was actually resurrected by Kabuto in the Great Ninja War as a what do they call them? They're not zombies. They're I don't know. He's resurrected, right? So he's showing his skill there. I'm gonna put him in good tier just because of how much of a good light the anime places on him. Obviously, he is dead for most of it, so we mainly see him through Neji's flashbacks and whatnot. But we do get some character development with him during the war. I like him better than his brother for sure. Neji absolutely goes hard. Meant to be one of the main antagonists a bit in the Chunin exams in the original Naruto series. It develops into one of the main characters, one of the Konoha 12. And yeah, just great. I mean, always a prodigy of just, if you're fighting Neji, you know you're in for a fight. I don't think Neji's ever in a fight where he's just bodied, which is awesome. And even when he dies, you know, which it sucks. I mean, that's such a hard hit for Naruto and Hinata to take. And I think that tragedy brings them together in some ways. Neji, though, goes hard overall. He's a great Jonin. The fact that when Naruto came back to the village and they're like, oh yeah, we're all Chunings now, and Neji's even a Jonin. That was hilarious and totally on brand for him. So, yeah, goes pretty hard there. Shizune is up next. Yeah. Also, I have some wiki up on my side just to make sure I'm not getting names wrong, and I just got an ad for Call of Duty Black Ops, which came out like over a year ago, so that's interesting. Shizune, pretty good, right? She's a very, very well-versed medical ninja. She's a assistant to the 5th, 6th, and 7th Hokages. She has her pig Tongton, who the pig actually has more screen time than Tenten does, which I mentioned in the Genin video. So, yeah, I mean, Shizune is shown to be very skilled and powerful. She's mainly used as more of a, should I say, slice of life type character where, you know, just back in the village helping run the show and stuff. But in various fights, she is shown to be competent as well, and good character overall, I'd say. Uchiha's coming up next. We have Fugaku Uchiha. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is Sasuke's dad, so we have Sasuke's parents here. And he is actually someone that goes real hard. And you might not know this, because I didn't for a long time, but Fugaku was very powerful. I mean, he's the leader of the Uchiha clan, so similar stature in the village to Hiashi here. However, when they were choosing the 4th Hokage, there was 3 men that were up for that. Of course, first we have Minato Namikaze, who won it, Naruto's dad. And then we also have Fugaku Uchiha. He was up there with Orochimaru and Minato for the role of the 4th Hokage. So showing just how powerful he is, that he was in the same breath as Minato and Orochimaru. Yeah, Fugaku goes hard, and obviously he is killed by his son, by Itachi, but some would say that he only died to Itachi because he allowed Itachi to kill him because he didn't want to fight his son. So, goes hard, yeah. His wife, Mikoto. Gonna put her in good tier. She doesn't do a lot in the series. She's a mother figure to Itachi, or she is the mother of Itachi and Sasuke. Offers to teach Sasuke some shuriken, and she's a Jonin, but yeah, not shown very much. So perhaps not the most powerful, but for what she is in the show for, she is memorable, and I'd say she's pretty good. I think for her time in the show, they did more with her than Kurenai. So yeah, I mean, obviously she wasn't in the show very much, but yeah, I like her. I'd say good. Kakashi Hatake, absolute GOAT. I don't know what else you expected here. Yeah, the future 6th Hokage, one of the most powerful Jonin in the show, in any village, constantly a threat, competes against Obito, Madara, Kaguya, literally anybody you put in front of this man, he is going to give them a run for their money. I'm putting him in GOAT tier. I think that is fair. Next up, we have a list of ninja who I learned are not regular Jonin. These are Tokubetsu Jonin. Basically, they're special forces. So these are Jonin, but they each have a specialty. of some kind. At least these next 7 do, not the Ino Shikacho. But yeah, these next 7 characters. So the first one is Ibisu. Ibisu is the mentor for Konohamaru, and later I believe becomes Konohamaru's sensei. And he is I'm gonna mess up this name, Tokubetsu Jonin, as I said. So he is an elite trainer, and that's basically his skill set here, is that he's a trainer, a teacher, and he has basic knowledge of a lot of different things, of a huge variety of stuff. But let's be honest, in the show, he is pretty dog water. In part 1, he's so obnoxious, chasing around Konohamaru and Naruto. He is shown to be powerful later in the series, but just so frustrating, his appearance and his just everything about him. His one claim to fame was when he fought against Pain. He actually did fairly good. But Konohamaru had to save him a little bit. So overall, Ibisu, thanks for coming, but I'm gonna put you in dog water too. Anko, the apprentice of Orochimaru. If I could rank just her Boruto appearance, by the way, where she gained a lot of weight, it's not just that she gained weight, it's just like how she's animated and how she's acted in Boruto just kind of sucks, which is the case with a lot of Boruto characters. But Anko, I feel like probably has to go in mid. I don't know. We put Sasuke's mom in good, and we don't really know a lot about. Do we put her mom? Do we put Sasuke's mom down here in cool but minor characters? Because she's not really in much. Anko, she's awesome, she's cool, but she's never really positioned to be much of a big deal. She's shown to have much of the same training as Kabuto. Doesn't take it as far, but knows a lot of Orochimaru's stuff. You would expect her to maybe be involved in taking out Orochimaru or something, and she's not really in any way. So despite her being trained by Orochimaru, having that connection there, she's kind of just left out of a lot of the Orochimaru stuff that happens. I think it would have been really cool if Sasuke formed some type of relationship with her, or some type of friendship where, she maybe helps Sasuke at some point with the Orochimaru stuff. I don't know. I'm going to put her in mid, though. I don't think she was used to her full capability in the show. Ibiki is a special Jonin who is in charge of interrogation and whatnot. He's a pretty cold, hard dude. I'm gonna put him in mid. He definitely has a memorable face and everything. If you've watched Attack on Titan, he's incredibly similar to the trainer from that show, who I'm forgetting the name of, but I feel like Attack on Titan does that type of character a little bit better. The tortury trainer type character. I don't know. Ibiki's mid. Next up, 4 guys that I constantly forget the names of. First of all, we have Hayate Gecko. And Hayate is the guy that was killed by Baki, killed by Gaara Sensei back in part 1. And for whatever reason, for me, that one line stands out. It's like, a sword can be blocked, but nothing can stop a blade made of sound or wind or something. He says something like that. And that's what kills Hayate. So he is a very skilled Jonin. He's very skilled in sword fighting and whatnot. I believe Kenjutsu. And he is actually resurrected in the Great Shinobi War, along with who we mentioned earlier, Hizashi being resurrected. So this guy's pretty cool. I'm going to put him mid. He wasn't really in the show much. But yeah, he's there. He's a guy, for sure. Next, we have Raido. Raido and Genma are these 2 Jonin who were taught the Flying Thunder God technique by Minato Namikaze. So they're elite bodyguards for the Hokage, as if any of the Hokage really need bodyguards. But they're taught the Flying Thunder God technique, so they can use that. In the anime, they require a 3rd guy who isn't even on here. But yeah, they're both pretty good in that regard. Raido, do they do anything else? Raido and Genma, I believe both of them are involved with the hunt for the Akatsuki. Raido specifically is given a team of Choji, Ino, and a 4th person. I don't know what Genma does specifically in that. Both these guys I'm going to put in the same place, let's be honest. Are they mid? Are they good? We may have to adjust our tiers here, guys. Give me a sec to change some names. Alright, so I adjusted a couple things. Added a disappointment tier for Kurenai and Anko. Again, that's not because their characters aren't cool. That's because their characters, I feel like, just could have done a lot more in the show than they were really made to. They kind of pushed to the wayside a little bit more than they should have been. We got our mid-tier here with Hiashi, Ibiki, and I went ahead and put Raito and Genma there. They are good in terms of like the Flying Thunder God technique. They're unique. They're always kind of around in the show as, you know, when they talk about, oh, these are the Jonin, you know, you have Asuma and Guy and Kakashi in the front, and then you have these guys kind of in the back. So gonna go ahead and put them in mid-tier. I don't think they're bad by any means. I'm gonna keep Hisashi and Shizune up in a good tier. And then I actually moved Hayate down to meh tier. I don't think he's dog water. I don't think he's as bad as Ibisu, but he just doesn't really do a lot. I mean, he's supposed to be this powerful Jonin, and he does lose to another Jonin. It's not like he loses to a kid or something, but yeah, he's just not in the show that much, so I'm going to go ahead and put him in meh tier. We only got 4 more Jonings coming up here, guys. First up, we have we already said Raito. We have Aoba, A-O-B-A, Aoba Yamashiro. He is just like the last couple guys, a Tokubetsu Jonin, and he is one that fights with the Akatsuki mission to find the Akatsuki. What am I trying to say here? He's on the team with Asuma, he's on the team with Shikamaru, and he's on the team with the 4th guy who is actually a Chunin. So on a lot of these teams, it was 2 Jonin and 2 Chunin on each team, and that is why the Ino Shikacho group got split up, because Shikamaru was a Chunin, and obviously Asuma is a Jonin. So Asuma and Aoba were the Jonin on that mission, and then Shikamaru and the other guy were the Chunin. So gonna go ahead and put this guy actually in good tier. He has a lot of crow-based attacks, which I think are super, super cool. Very similar in some of his ninjutsu to Itachi, though obviously nowhere near as powerful. He also does fight against Kisame, and at no point in my recollection is he ever just thrown around, right? He's always shown to be at least a little bit of a threat to the Akatsuki he's fighting and stuff. I mean, he doesn't win, but he does more than a lot of the other random Jonin do. So he's probably one of my favorite just of these random Jonin, I'd say. So gonna put him in good tier. And then last up, we have the Ino Shikacho, the original, or at least the last Ino Shikacho, I guess not the original, but the previous Ino Shikacho, Inoichi. Why can I not remember Inoichi's last name? Inoichi Yamanaka, Shikaku Nara, and Shoza Akimichi from the 3 famous clans. First of all, we have Inoichi, responsible for being the head of the analysis team in the village's intelligence division. That was, sorry, I had to read that one. Yeah, so he's involved with like being the psychic guy in the 4th Shinobi War. Very cool role he's put in. He goes really hard. And of course, there's that scene where the Ten Tails blasts a blast at HQ, and he's the one that tells everybody that, yeah, it's coming here. And yeah, he goes pretty hard there. I wish he was used a little bit more, as you know, this entire generation was used a little more. I kind of wished, but yeah. Shikaku, absolute goat. And if I put Shikaku there, I guess I got to put my guy there too. Let's go show respect for Guy Sensei. But Shikaku, a fantastic mentor to Shikamaru. He's the head of the Jonin, I believe, in the show, which is, he's the only person to ever be said to have that position, which is kind of odd. But head of the Nara clan, you know, he's responsible for the entire battle strategy of the 5 United Nations, and yeah, just fantastic character overall. I love that he's not completely overpowered, like honestly Might Guy and Kakashi sometimes are. He's more so just intelligent, and that translates down to his son Shikamaru as well, where his son takes a lot after him in a great way. So Shikaku, love him, GOAT character. Choza, I want to put down here Choza got a lot of screen time in the Fourth Shinobi War as a fighter, whereas these two were back in HQ. I wish we had gotten a team up between them, but of course these two died. And then Choza is around in Boruto, but I don't. Have we ever seen him in Boruto? Like, what is he doing in Boruto? Because he is still alive, unlike the other ones. Yeah, let me read this. New era. Chozo was part of a crowd of people who gather outside the 7th Hosokage's office. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say good tier. I think the Boruto era has kind of hurt his character a little bit. Kind of wish he had been able to do a little bit more. Inoichi and Shikaku, them dying actually may have been a great thing because it made them martyrs and made them... I think it really capped off their characters really, really well. Whereas Choza does live and kind of just fades into obscurity in my opinion. So, Jonin, guys, that was a rambling of a video. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. What do you think? Did I put people in the right spot? Should Asuma or Neji be up here in GOAT? Should anybody else be in Disappointment, Meh, or Dogwater? What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. And thank you for watching. This has been the guy who makes random tier lists, and I'm signing out.